I'm Ashley Wagasback, feeding therapist, occupational therapist, and lactation consultant. Look forward to discussing all things feeding so that we can support you to bring your little one to their maximum potential so that feeding can be enjoyable for the entire family.
Are you looking for a community of other moms joining together to support their little one through the ups and downs of feeding and gross motor milestones? The Thriving Together community is just for you. Find us on social media at Instagram, Facebook, and www.sensorysolutionsTherapy.com to learn more. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Feeding Solutions podcast. I have the honor of having Betsy Royster here with me today. She is in our community, and actually, she's in my building. And so I've known her for some time, but Betsy's the founder and co-owner of Bayou Barre. It's a fitness studio in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and she teaches barre and classical Pilates. She's certified in Barre and Soul Academy, the Daily Method, London Method, and she's endorsed by the late Esther Fairfax. Betsy also holds 600-hour comprehensive certification from Power Pilates. She resides in Thibodaux with her husband, Tommy, and their 3 growing boys. So welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Ashley. It's totally my pleasure.
Well, you are one of the gyms. You and I haven't been to one of your classes in a while because life is crazy, but you helped me during pregnancy and postpartum, and that is the audience that I serve in this podcast. And so I haven't had the opportunity of having someone from like the health wellness, physical health wellness space. I just interviewed someone from the postpartum prenatal mental health realm.
Amazing.
And this is just as important, just helping our bodies be strong. Women having like a unique perspective of like caring for our bodies when we are postnatal. And so I'm going to hand it over to you. You can kind of share a little bit about you and as a barre instructor, Pilates instructor, all of that. So,
well, like you said, I have 3 boys, and my barre experience began in between my second and third boys. I kind of was a little lost. I needed some exercise. I needed it to be scheduled. I wasn't going to do it. There was a class at my gym. 7 p.m. on Wednesday nights. And if I didn't forget about it, I got there. Sometimes I'd be like washing dishes at 7:30 saying, oops, forgot to go. So that's how it started. And then I did that workout through my 3rd pregnancy. And then about a year after my 3rd was born, we moved to Thibodaux. And so the first thing I did was try to find a barre class. And there were a few people teaching here and there, but it was nothing sort of like consistent, and definitely no spaces devoted to barre. And barre is such a fuzzy word because it's very generic. Pilates can be very generic. And so I knew I was looking for a very particular style of workout that was core focused and rooted in decades and decades of research and honestly, just women figuring out what worked in their bodies and passing it down through teacher after teacher after teacher.
Very cool. Yeah. So, I mean, like just reading your bio, there's so many different methods out there. So you just said you kind of chose the best. So like, do you have classes that are like the London method, or do you kind of use all of them? How does that work?
So our Bayou Barre method is what we started with. So when we were on the Bayou side, and I think Brooke and I taught a total of 9 classes a week. We were so tiny and just getting started. That was where we started. And we focused on that, got good at that, brought some new teachers in, sort of expanded our class times, and then just kept researching what landed with us, what worked for us as moms, what worked for us as we're transitioning into like menopause age. We had older clients started to come. And so looking at our community and figuring out what was out there that would support that. And while I was training in my first training, I was headed to Lafayette a lot going to the Daily Method. There was a studio there. The owner had lived in Chicago. She moved back home to Louisiana and she brought the Daily Method down with her. And had the opportunity to meet with Jill Daly a whole bunch, do her workouts. Really, really loved it. She has a Pilates background as well. So we knew bringing portions of that in would be really nice. So we've got Barre and Soul. We've got the Daily Method. Those are strengthening that Bayou Barre method class that we have going on. Meanwhile, I'm studying the original method that Lottie Burke created in England that's very different than Barre was taught here in the US. We got the opportunity to travel and learn from not only girls in California, but Lottie Burke's daughter, Esther Fairfax, before she passed. I was able to make the trip 4 times to England to go train with her and visit with her. The exercises are beautiful. Again, it's all core conditioning, but there's a lot of chatter in class and community in class, and it's very feminine. It's different than our Bayou Barre method class. Both of them land well with me. I like mix. And then, of course, we brought the classical Pilates in first with the mat because that's the cheapest. That's what we could afford. And then over time, we've gotten most of the classical equipment that we have in the studio now. And each class sort of fills a gap that the other one doesn't, which I like a lot. So we just keep refining. We figure out who our clientele is, who our community is, what they need. And then we go out there and we learn as much as we can, and then we bring it home and sort of package it up and try to keep it as easy and as likable as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like explain what is Barre, what is Pilates? I think it's kind of like all the same, right? Someone who's ignorant, who's not really versed.
Not ignorant, because let's say you're scrolling Instagram and you look at a Barre hashtag, like what all is going to come up? So much stuff. And then if it's contemporary Pilates, it looks a lot like Barre, So there is a lot out there. Barre was known as rehabilitative exercises. That's how it started. Lottie Burke, who I mentioned earlier, was in England. She was a dancer. There's lots of myths out there about why she started doing what she did. She hurt her back. She slipped a disc and worked with a physical therapist to come up with these exercises based on her work in contemporary dance, modern dance. She was not a ballerina. So the bar's on the wall, but the exercises are physical therapy based.
That makes sense.
And dance, modern dance, not ballet. Although ballet is beautiful, but it's not ballet.
Okay.
And then Barre comes over to the US. They get taught in New York City. There are 2 teachers who are still actively teaching today, Fred DeVito and Elizabeth Halfpap, who are just the most beautiful people on the earth. If you're ever in the Hamptons, go take a class with them. You can live stream their classes and take them from home if you want. They sort of refined what got brought over from England. Fred was a PE coach. He added planks, he added push-ups, he added arm weights, all things we need that are good for us. But it's different, So you've got that, and then you have anywhere from what Fred and Liz taught or Esther and Lottie taught to a former dance teacher putting a bar on the wall and creating her own exercises, which is fine too. So there's definitely a spectrum. Some teachers, I'll say instructors stand at the front and show everyone what to do. Teachers, like what we do at Bayou Barre, typically will demonstrate, and then we walk around the class and then we help you get deeper into the work. So it's not our workout, it's your workout. So it is more of as much as we can individualized experience. within a
And some
group.
hands-on and
Yes,
tweaking, hands-on tweaking.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then Pilates, you could say the same thing. Like, it was created by Joseph Pilates. He was like this gymnast, boxer guy in the 1920s, created these exercises to rehab his body. He had rheumatic fever as a child. He had a lot of ailments, and he was just like a tough dude and wanted to get tougher. And then came to New York, worked on his method. Dancers started doing it. So that's why we think Pilates, we think dancer body.
Okay.
These exercises were created to help dancers with their
Okay.
injuries and with their work. So it is rooted in dance, but I was not a
Mhm.
dancer. Brooke was not a dancer.
Yeah.
Except a
Right.
little toe tap, at a party.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. But if you do dance, like, we can definitely tell when you come in. They kind of have, dancers usually have an advantage. But Lottie Burke used to say how much she hated teaching dancers because she would have to undo all the dance.
Yeah.
Because it really is. She made these exercises for normal people, and Joseph Pilates
Mhm.
made these exercises for normal, everyday Americans who were going
Mhm.
to work and coming home, and even in the 1920s, recognized that people were getting sedentary. I can't imagine
Mhm.
what he would say about us today.
Yeah.
So a
Absolutely.
lot of emphasis on breath work, and naturally the pelvic floor gets integrated in that.
Mhm.
Bar is fun. It's set to music. I would say, like, it's the life of the party, where Pilates is very, very inward focused. A lot of
Okay.
concentration. There are 6 Pilates principles, and concentration is one of them. So
Mm.
really, really getting in tune with your body.
Okay.
The nervous system, I feel like bar is beautiful for the nervous system, but Pilates is like a whole different level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yep.
That's really, really good.
And classical Pilates is what we teach. Classical Pilates is obviously what Joseph Pilates came up with. There have been many lineages that have come off of
Okay.
that, but then you also have contemporary Pilates, which, you might see a physical therapist do, where they take their
Mhm.
exercises and put them on a piece of equipment. Or, like I said earlier, it looks like a bar exercise, but it's done with Pilates equipment. So
Okay.
do your research, figure out what works for you. We teach what we teach because we like that sort of home base, and to
Mhm.
just to keep like a sort of a curriculum going so people can see how
Mhm.
they progress. We
Yeah,
believe
that
in
makes sense.
research, the years and years of the work. At the same time, if you have fun in someone's class and they keep you coming and moving, that's
Yeah,
all that matters at the end of the day.
absolutely.
Yeah.
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 So this, the women, prenatal, postnatal, like where do they fit in? Why this type of exercise versus maybe, I don't know, another more rigorous, or let me rephrase, like maybe a higher intensity of
Totally.
pounding and,
Totally. Yeah. So I will say, a lot of doctors, and they mean well, will say, "Oh, you're pregnant, do Pilates and bar,"
mm,
which is great. However, you never start exercise when you're
mhm.
pregnant. You want to have been doing that exercise for a while,
Yeah,
unless
yeah.
it's a specific prenatal class.
Mm,
If you think you're interested in bar or Pilates or CrossFit or swimming, don't start when you're pregnant.
right.
Start, 6, 9 months before, if you
Mhm.
can. Sometimes we
Yeah.
don't know when that's going to happen, but sort of start to find things that you could be interested in. Um,
Mhm.
it is no impact. Bar
Mhm.
is no impact. I know there's some classes where you might like do some jumping, or there are classes like on trampolines and things like that, but classical bars, none of that. It's said low impact, but it's truly like no impact. So
Okay.
let's say you have knee pain or back pain, you
Mhm.
know, um, this would be good for you. You don't have to worry about the jarring in the pavement. That being said, if you're pregnant and you're running and you feel good, keep going, sister. Like, I'm not going to stop
Yeah.
you. But for the most majority of us, we're not going to be able to do that. So, bar is something you can truly do from the beginning of your pregnancy to the end of
Mhm.
your pregnancy, and then um, take pieces of it in your postpartum rehab,
Okay.
mainly the breath work.
Mhm.
Pilates is a little different. If you're doing a mat, like a group class, at some point you're going to stall out. Like, there's too much abdominal work.
that
There's
makes
bar, it's a
sense.
little more segmented. We work the arms, we work the legs. Obviously, everything's working together, but it's a little more focused. We can prop you up, with some props for the
Yes.
ab series. You probably remember that.
Yes, I
A lot
remember
of
that.
holding and
Yes.
breathing, and it's lovely. A lot of our pregnant clients say they feel their abdominals more than
Mm-hmm.
ever when they're pregnant. Pilates sort of stalls out. So that's where we talk about group classes versus private classes.
Mm.
So truly in the studio, we like to see private clients come in because there is a system and it involves the mat, it involves the reformer. There's other equipment like the Wonder chair, the high chair, the Cadillac, which is like the table that has all the scary equipment hanging from it.
Yes.
There's a system that we can follow and we can tailor it to someone with back pain or someone who's pregnant. That's
Mm-hmm.
a nice way to go. Now, those classes are pricey.
Yeah.
You'll learn a lot as a student from them, though, just
Mm-hmm.
like anything. Like if someone comes to you for therapy versus like a
Yeah.
group therapy session, you get a little
Yeah.
more individualized if you
Sure.
will. But
Sure.
I will say, like maybe in your prenatal journey, start with some privates just to get to know your body, and then sort of either you stop or you keep
Mm-hmm.
going. But in that private session, you get a little more leeway with what's happening versus a mat
Right.
class where you're kind of like, we can try to modify for you, but it's
Yeah.
not going to be as good. Bar, you can do the whole time as long as you're feeling good.
Right. So you mentioned pelvic floor.
Yeah.
And there's pelvic floor physical therapy. This like what it kind of explained because I know a lot of moms hear that.
Yes.
So
I'm so glad that moms hear that because when I first
mhm,
started teaching, people didn't know what pelvic floor therapy was. They're like, oh, I had a C-section. I don't need pelvic floor therapy. I'm here
mhm,
to say, I'm 43 years old. My youngest is 9, and I am still in pelvic floor therapy. Like
yeah,
postpartum is forever,
yeah.
especially as our bodies transition.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so I am a huge proponent of it. There's some amazing pelvic PTs in our area, which I'm
Mhm.
tickled about.
Yeah, there
I know
are.
I used to
Yeah.
have to drive to New Orleans, and now like we've got some
Yeah,
right here in
several.
Thibodeau.
Mhm.
It's fantastic. So interestingly enough, the original bar technique taught by Lottie and Esther included a portion in class called Inner Spirit, which
Hmm.
is breathing and pelvic floor work. Now,
Ah.
it's very basic. And,
Mhm.
I've been seeing Sydney Freeman in Homa, and it's funny. I'm like reading her stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is how Esther taught Inner Spirit. Like, don't overthink it. Just breathe, just do it.
Yeah.
Um, I think more than anything, though, bringing awareness to your pelvic floor in class is important. It's kind of like anything. If you have a shoulder injury or a knee,
Mhm.
coming to class will give you awareness. And then
Mhm.
you can make a choice. Wow, do I need to go see a specialist? Do I need to go see a
Yes.
therapist? Our classes can sometimes give people a space to kind of make those discoveries about their body.
Mhm.
We
That makes
fully
sense.
support like seeking out help. Um,
Yeah.
I am not a medical professional. I am
Mhm.
there to give you some space to work out your body, and I'll be the first one to send you to, Abby Plitt if
Mhm.
it hurts.
Mhm.
So I'm sure, like you would, if you have a baby
Yeah.
in your
Yeah,
office that
for
you can't
sure.
help, you're going to send them somewhere else.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think a lot of people come in and they just want to be where they were like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And starting to have honest conversations about what your limitations are, what your goals are. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a practice for life, leaving the
Yeah.
studio and when you're home, how are things going? You're starting to be a little more inward and honest with yourself. And there is such a connectedness with your pelvic floor and how that
Yeah.
translates and how the rest of your body is moving. And then going back to your mind and how are you feeling? Are you being honest with yourself in class? Are you being honest with yourself in home? It's like can get
Mhm.
really deep here.
Yeah.
It really can.
No, but I mean, it's so important because I don't really know who else is having that mind body connection talk like in their workout class.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
And some classes are a little more like, "Woo, it's a party," but sometimes
yeah.
it's a little deep. It depends kind of
Mhm.
what mood we're
Mhm.
in, what I always say we teach what we need. There's been times
Mhm.
in my life where I needed rest, and I try to integrate that into my class. There's times where I need a little more strength, and you'll see me teach that way. And I just hope it lands where it's supposed to with
Sure.
whoever's in my class that day. Also, not planning our classes usually before we teach. We see who's in the room. We room and we go from there. So we don't teach what we plan. We teach who's in front of us. Scrap the plan. We start over.
Okay.
Somebody's had a long day. Somebody's just had a baby. Class is going to look different.
Yeah. Well, your instructor base has expanded. So
Yeah.
as far as like should a person look for a certain instructor, does like to teach a certain class, or how do they kind of know what you kind of explained the Pilates bar
Yeah.
piece,
Yeah.
but as far as just what people should know when they're coming into a
Love that
class?
question because we can, Sam and I can teach bar, but it might have a totally different feel,
Yeah.
and even week to week. I always say there's a teacher for everyone. So keep trying to find your teacher,
Okay.
it's like this class didn't land. Oh, try another one. If you're at a studio and you're not feeling it, like try a different studio, it's kind of like a restaurant, like go where you like it. And I do think we all have something different to offer, even within our own studio, which is really
Yeah.
cool because you can
Yeah.
get different experiences, which I
No,
think,
I love that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that. So, yeah. So a person doesn't have to stress over like, oh, this instructor, I can't make it to her class.
yeah,
They can
absolutely.
find the class that works for their schedule.
Absolutely. And I think every teacher has something to offer us that's a little different that can help us get into the work a little bit differently. Like I said, we teach what we need. So I teach a lot of what I need. And, Lauren may teach totally differently,
Yeah.
which is cool. I like it.
Absolutely.
Now, and we do have class descriptions, on MindBody, which is our booking software. You can read about our classes. You can read about
Yeah.
our teachers. I always say, go to the class you can make. Like what
Yeah.
works with your schedule? When do you have childcare? When is it like no big deal for you to go? And,
Yeah.
go get a coffee after or go have a quiet walk by yourself. Like build in that like buffer time so you're not stressing about being there.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. What's something you wish somebody knew who's brand new to this world?
Um, don't worry about waiting to be perfect. Show up where you are. You may decide this is your workout. You may not, but it's all a journey. And there's a small requirement, I think, that happens with these MindBody classes. And you have to make a choice when you're in there. And this is why they say bar isn't for everyone, because you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable is icky. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And this is where we go back to that practice for life. When I used to go see Esther, we never talked about bar. We talk about being a mom or being a friend or being a business owner and how are we helping people better their lives. At the end of the day, that's where Brooke and I land. Like we love what we do and we're passionate about what we do, but it's more important that women and men leave our studio feeling better than when they walked in, where they get clarity. So I think that comes from making choices that support our nervous system, starting with that. Like, how does this feel in my body? Because there's your truth, right? And then you have a choice. You can lean into the truth or you can try to like hold your plank longer than the person beside you to make a choice, like ego or how am I really feeling? And taking that honesty and bringing it home and being vulnerable with your partner. Like, I need help, or I really want to go to this class, or I don't like the school that our kid is in. Like having honest conversations. And I know it's just a bar class, right? And it's just a Pilates class, but practicing making choices, making modifications. Maybe it's the day to work harder, to like try something new and step out of your comfort zone. So I like to say it's just a microcosm for life. And in our studio particularly, we're just like my number one rule for our teachers, just be nice to everybody. Nice, be friendly, be welcoming. That atmosphere has bled over to our students. I find they're usually talking to the new person before I get to. And if you don't like it, find something that you love. Keep seeking it out because there's something out there for you. we think what we do has a higher purpose. I would like to I
Mhm.
hope that our clients feel that way. And even if
Mhm.
you just come one time, I hope you leave feeling better than when you walked
Right.
in the door. Yeah.
Yeah. And so women who are just, maybe not feeling as
Oh,
fit or as looking as,
yes.
as they were before they had their baby,
Mhm.
and those postpartum, there's no like, I need to be this strong or I need to look this way.
Oh,
They come
I,
as they are, right?
yes. And I wish mamas would be kind to themselves. That's my
Yeah.
biggest wish. Like you got in the door, that's the hardest thing. Leaving that
Mm-hmm.
baby and feeling that guilt, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Um, I think two things can be true. You can be honest with what you need. Like, yeah, I need to be stronger, but you can also be gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
Being
Mm-hmm.
honest, being gentle. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And again, just finding a place, a space. Maybe it's CrossFit, maybe it's a running club, maybe it's
Mhm.
just a walk by yourself where you can fill up your own cup. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Do you have any other advice for mamas who've been there, questioning
Girls.
maybe what they should do next for fitness or,
Yeah. Seek out what you like.
mhm,
Try to be de-influenced. There's a
yes,
lot on social media. I am so glad I had my babies before all this blew up.
it's
I
crazy.
love social media. It helps me keep in touch with people. I learn new things. It is so overstimulating and overwhelming. And there's, chatter, don't wear a weighted vest, wear a weighted vest, don't
Yes.
trampoline, don't jump on a trampoline, take creatine, don't like there's so much out there. Go back to what regulates your nervous system, what
Mhm,
feels right in your body.
mhm,
Also, everybody has had their first bar class, everybody, including me. And I had no idea what I was doing.
mhm.
We've all been there, all of
Yeah,
us. So
yeah,
don't be afraid to try something new.
yeah. I feel like the culture has done a really good job of keeping people complacent because there is so much noise and so much out there. Like we are in the world of information,
Yes.
but we are so confused and spinning around. We can't make
Oh,
a decision.
yes.
And so I love like the freedom that you give, like as an owner of this company, to be like, we might not be your person, but like you are still welcome. And
Absolutely.
we would
Absolutely.
love we would love to share what we do.
Mhm.
And and something else, like I feel like I remember the lie, and I probably still believe it to some degree, is that like if I am not doing this type of exercise, that I'm like wasting my time. Like
Right.
in my mind, I don't know where that came from, that if I'm not sweating
Yeah.
enough
Oh,
or
yeah.
I'm not doing it this way that I think I should do, or based on what I've seen on social media, that it's not helping my body.
Totally.
I have to
Totally.
believe that's a lie.
It's a lie. I mean, I was a runner growing up. I played sports, very active. My body hurt all the
Yeah.
time. Now, my husband is a runner and he's
Mhm.
fantastic and he's 45 and he's still killing it out there. Good
Mhm.
for him. But,
Mhm.
I have lupus. My twin sister has RA. She's also a bar and Pilates teacher. Go figure. Normal isn't always optimal.
Yes.
So what's optimal for your body might be very different from someone else. I could go for a run. I'm not going to feel good when I'm done. It might
Mhm.
help my muscles, but there might be more detriment than,
Yeah.
you know. Um, that was a hard transition for me. Actually,
Mhm.
was when I realized I couldn't run anymore.
Mhm.
And I knew how to go in the gym and lift weights, but I was like, but what else am I going to do?
Right.
So my first group class ever was a yoga class. And I was like, wow, it's so nice. They tell me what to do the whole time. I don't have to think
Right.
about it. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then that got me into bar and I loved the music. Um, Again, I didn't have to think about it, which was
Mhm.
kind of cool. And then that
Yeah.
went well as a mom, just kind of like not checking out, zoning out, but somebody else making the decisions for me for that hour. It was great.
Nice. Yes.
Yes. So we'll make the decisions for you. You just show up.
I love that.
At the same time, if you're a runner and you're passionate, like keep doing it. If you like to jump rope every day, like go do it. Dance, walk, just move your body again in a way that I feel like as a society, if we could regulate our nervous systems and come from that honest space, the world would be a better, more peaceful place. I just have to believe that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Well, where can people find you?
So on the, overstimulating Instagram at Bayou Barre, same for Facebook, BayouBarre.com on the web. You can find us via MindBody, which is our booking software. And then in Thibodaux at the Cherry Building, right near the new roundabout, drive with caution. So we're right in the bottom floor where Ashley used to be Sensory Solutions. We still have some tired mamas coming in our doors, babies, and we love it. We do. We love seeing them.
So people need to sign up for your class, right? This is not just a walk-in.
Definitely not. You want to make us a little reservation for yourself. Like most studios, we do have some policies about, book ahead of time, cancellations. That stinks when you're a new mom and you need to cancel or change your class. But also like reach out to us because we understand we're all moms. And then a lot of new moms like to go in like, I'm getting the monthly unlimited. I'm gonna go every day. And then their baby stops sleeping. So just be gentle and ease into it and find some success before you sign off for too much,
That makes sense.
Yeah. So one day at a time.
Absolutely. I love it.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much. This was so great. I learned a ton. You're motivating me to find time to kind of step up my game. I'm doing my own little thing, but it would be good. Like the camaraderie would be very helpful again. Yeah. So I'm super grateful for your time and sharing all of your knowledge. And you truly are a little gem. Bayou Barre is a beautiful little studio. And so hopefully new mamas will go, or anybody for that matter, will go and check it out. So
daddies too. Daddies can come, it's all good.
Love it.
Everybody
Love
can
it.
come. All right, Ash.
Awesome. Thank you, Betsy. Have a great one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
I hope you found this episode on the feeding solutions helpful. If you would like more information, please follow Sensory Solutions on Facebook or Instagram, or you can always visit our website at www.sensorysolutionsTherapy.com. Thanks so much for joining today and look forward to seeing you next time.